All right, Matty B with Drive the Green. I'm here with Harv and Bronell. Today on the show, we have Director of Tour Operations for the Canadian Junior Golf Association, Tyler Torrieri, joins us. Did I get that right?
You did, yes. That was
Nailed,
impressive.
nailed it. Nailed it. I was practicing for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, Tyler, thanks for joining us. Excited to have you on. Excited to hear what you have to speak about, which is obviously your tour. For those of us here in Saskatchewan, we're excited to learn a little bit more. But first things first, tell us about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, so we're the Canadian Junior Golf Association. We run this year 136 events across Canada, all the way from BC to PEI and everywhere in between. We have two different tours. So we have our Leinster tour, which is from ages 4 to 14, and it's more of a developmental tour. There's a stroke limit on every hole. Parents can caddy. It's more so about getting those players into the game and into the competitive aspect of golf, and just having fun. Really, there's still winners and losers, but at the end of the day, it's just about getting them into that environment. And that's more of our developmental tour. So then the thought process is they'll graduate to our junior tour, which is from ages 10 to 19, and that's for the more competitive players that are trying to get to that next level, whether it's provincial golf or national golf or college, whatever that may be. Playing by the rules, no caddies allowed. It's definitely high level golf, that's for sure.
Right on. And so is that so as far as your, I guess, the tour in all these different provinces, are you spread out evenly throughout, or are there certain areas that you have more events? Just kind of, I guess, geography wise, how does everything going
Yeah,
on?
so we're like our two major markets are BC and Ontario. Just, I mean, BC especially, you can play pretty much all year round out there, which is very nice for those guys out there. And then Ontario is obviously a big consumer base for us. But we're just recently getting back into Saskatchewan as of last year. I'm just trying to build that back up again after a couple years of hiatus due to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alberta, Atlantic Canada, and Quebec as well are some of our more mid-sized markets rather than the bigger ones in Ontario and BC.
Right, right. So how did the tour come about? I know for us, it's your 30th anniversary this year, so obviously been around for a while. Tell us a little bit about the origins and how it's kind of grown over the past 30 years, and maybe some things you're doing special for the anniversary.
Yeah, so yeah, 30 years is pretty crazy to say that. Our founder's actually still with us and doing a lot of the day-to-day operations. So he founded it in '93, and I don't even think that he thought that we'd be here 30 years later. It's just grown every single year since then. Um, he started with just him and his wife back in the day running tournaments together, and to see where it's gone, where we have teams in each province, and we're traveling the country and providing all these opportunities for juniors. It's pretty crazy to see. And as far as what we have planned for the 30th year, I mean, we really went all out with our prizing and our giveaways, and we have our most tournaments ever this year with 136. We only ran 120 last year, so it's a pretty significant increase. And then qualifying opportunities outside of just national things, like we partnered with the Nota Begay Junior Golf Championship, the one that Tiger and Charlie actually, like Tiger caddied for Charlie in this past year in Louisiana. We partnered with them, so we have qualifying events that can get our players into those tournaments, as well as like we do a Canada versus USA versus Scotland match play in St. Andrews, Scotland,
Wow.
which is amazing. And players can qualify for that, or our Ryder Cup versus Team USA. Like, there's so many opportunities for these players that we're so excited to bring them this year.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, so anyone can sign up for any tournament at any time, or do you have to register as part of the tour and then you go from there? Or is it like, if I'm in Saskatchewan as a junior golfer, I play the tournaments around the province, and then your guys' tournaments in Saskatchewan, I can just go sign up for that, or do I have to be a tour member, I guess, call it, to be a part of these?
Yeah, so anybody can register for any tournament, with the exception of our four majors. So you have to qualify to get into those, and they're in the summer. But in Saskatchewan, for this coming season, we have two tournaments, one at Deer Valley and one at Deer Park. Um, Anybody can register for that. They just have to pay the tournament fee.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Cool. I was going to ask about the formats, but you kind of touched on that quite a bit. But what would be a regular format for just a regular like event on the competitive tour? Would it be 2 day, 4 day, 2 day?
Yeah, exactly. A normal event's 2 days.
Yeah.
In Saskatchewan, we actually have a 3 day event, which is more of our championship style event that we're working with Golf Saskatchewan on, just to provide more high level opportunities for those players that are at that level of trying to go for those college golf scholarships, or even to just play university golf in Canada, because with like WAGR rankings, the World Amateur Golf Ranking, they only rank 3 day events. So having that 3 day in Saskatchewan is really important for those players. But yeah, most of the time it's just 2 days, 18 holes per day. And then there's no cuts or anything like that.
Right on. Yeah, I think that's it's a good way for those players to get recognized, get that competitive experience, as you will, because that's the thing with Saskatchewan. We have they have some access to junior tours, but it's just nice, like you said, you've kind of been away for a couple of years, so coming back in is the plan this year, kind of 2 events, and then just slowly grow that back up. What was it before COVID, if I may?
Pre-COVID we ran 10 events out there in Saskatchewan. We're actually up to 4 this year. We combine our linksters in Saskatchewan, so it's technically 1 event but 2 separate ones, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah, if we can, like last year we only did the 1. This year we're up to 2. Next year's the hope will be 4 or 5. And then just keep on growing, because there is a lot of players in Saskatchewan that want to play competitive golf, and it's definitely a need, and Golf Saskatchewan's on board with helping us out in that regard. So we're very grateful for that as well.
Awesome.
Well, that's cool. Have you guys, I guess, a chance to toot your own horn a little bit? How many guys kind of graduated onto like an NCAA type program? Like, is it a good feeder system, or is that still a work in progress kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, 30 years, you're bound to see a little bit of success in that regard, right? Pretty much anybody you've seen on tour lately and in the past have come through us. The big ones, their names, right? Mac Hughes, Corey Connors, Brooke Henderson, even Brooke's sister, Brittany. She won our national championship twice. Pendrith, Michael Gligich, who's actually they have starts this weekend at the split event in
Corrales.
Yeah, exactly. The Corrales, yeah. And it's nice to see them succeed, because it shows our players, it is possible, right? I mean, Canada's growing as a golf country, and having the success of guys like Adam Svensson, who just won a couple months ago and had some success at the past couple tournaments here. It shows them that it's possible, and we're working with a lot of the pros now to try and get them to come back and give back to the game in Canada at the junior level with clinics or tournaments in their name, kind of like the American Junior Golf Association does so well with all of their past champions. We did it in the past with guys like Graham DeLed and David Hearn, that would come back, put on clinics, and talk to the kids at one massive event. We actually in Saskatchewan, we used to do, because obviously Graham's from Saskatchewan. We used to do this Dillette Cup, which is like Canada East versus Canada West, in like a Ryder Cup style format for his big event down there, the Grand Slam. So doing more stuff like that with our tour pros that have come through our program is definitely on the radar in the future.
Yeah, that's a great thing to involve the alumni. That definitely, we're a Canadian golf podcast. We've talked about it for the last 5 years, but we're slowly starting to see more and more guys up there, right? And so it's proof that we can play golf up here, and it's just a matter of time before we start to see more of those guys in the mix. And like you say, if you can get them involved and get kids involved, we obviously have a short season here in Saskatchewan and most of the Saskatchewan provinces, but it's a good way. Like, obviously we're getting our kids are getting older. We got young kids, but to hear that you can have a 4-year-old, and it's pretty solid. I know if Canoop was here, he couldn't make the interview here, but his kid's player. So who knows? Maybe he's going to the Deer Valley event and we don't even know about it. Didn't show up.
We had a 3-year-old play in Ontario last year. Crazy, man.
Huh. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. Well, you are a guest on our show, so we gotta put you through the rapid fire ringer here. So if we may shift gears a little bit, now we're going into your personal golf world. So Bronell's going to kick it off.
All right. Favorite golf course to play in Ontario?
That's a good question. Probably Banff Springs.
Okay. And now in Ontario.
In Ontario, Carrying Place Golf and Country Club. It's a not a well-known course. It's a private club just north of Toronto, but it's pretty scenic. And if anybody can play there, it's pretty challenging, but gorgeous course and gorgeous condition.
You guys have so many nice courses
Yeah,
around
so
Toronto.
many.
It's actually
It's
sickening.
crazy. Yeah. Crazy.
Fair.
Yeah.
It is fair.
This one might be a little bit of a longer answer, but what was your journey to being the director of tour operations? How did you get to where you are?
Might not be all that rapid fire.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. I went to Brock University for sport management and just applied for an internship position in the summer, and coming out of my first year, and got it. Had a little bit of golf experience. Like I didn't play competitively, but I played, casually with buddies growing up. And then when I got this job, then I started to, play a little more because I'm at the course all the time. Started to take it pretty seriously in the summers, and I think I got down to a 6.7 during COVID, which was nice. That'll never happen again. But which is kind of upsetting. But other than that, like just stayed here. I loved it here. Got very fortunate coming out of school during COVID, that they offered me a full-time position, and I took it. And now here I am, kind of overseeing the day-to-day operations of the company, and kind of figured out I had a passion for junior golf along the way, and yeah, here we are.
Awesome. Good for you.
I appreciate it.
What's your favorite PGA Tour event? And if you say the Masters, then say a second one, please.
Masters. Yeah. I think everyone's is the Masters. I'll say the Valspar just happened. So we actually run a tournament over Christmas at Innisbrook, and the kids get to play Copperhead. So It's cool. Yeah, it's cool to be there and like run a tournament there, and then see how the tour runs the tournament. So like operational side of me that's pretty cool, just to kind of compare the two.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I was just gonna say, just piggyback on that. It's almost like it was meant to be that this interview is in our Valspar recap episode. But do you find when you have a little bit of experience at a course that it changes the way in which you watch it? It's like you recognize some of the holes and just know how it plays and all that type of stuff. Do you find that you have a little piece of sentimental value there?
Yeah, 100%. Right. I mean, you watch the events and you're like, I've gotten up and down from that bunker. Like, why can't but it was funny. I was watching yesterday when Spieth snapped, or I don't know if it was snap hook or just pumped it in the water on 16. I was like, man, that's the only thing you can't do on that hole. How do you do that? Right. But yeah, it definitely changes the way you watch the game. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
He made a hell of a bogey, but
yeah,
he did a hell of a bogey. Yeah, that's for sure.
How many career aces do you have, if any?
0. None, man.
Nice. Welcome to the club.
Finally,
Chase.
someone.
Yeah, everyone we've asked has them, except well, me and Harv don't, but
yeah. So we got one between the four of us anyway.
I'm convinced it's never coming. So
yeah, me too.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen on a golf course? Like whether it's playing with buddies, whether it's working at a tournament, whether it's an operational thing, but just something that was just like, that's plain out weird to see.
That's a good question. There's a lot. Working in the industry, there's a lot. We had a kid one year. He would have had to have been like 12 or 13 years old, and his ball got stuck in a tree. And I mean, with the rules, so like he's playing on our junior tour, so we're playing by the rules. So he either has to take a drop for a penalty stroke, or he can go up there and play it. And this little 12-year-old kid's like, I'm going to play it. So we're like, okay, like, be careful. So he climbed the tree and then hit it out of the tree. And I think he ended up making bogey. And I was like, man, that's crazy. And that would have been one of my first couple of years working at the CJGA. So I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And it to this day still is probably.
Yeah, well, and I mean, a 12-year-old kid too, a little bit lighter, a little easier to get up there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Harv?
I just asked someone. Your turn.
Oh, my turn. All right. You're on death row. What's your last meal?
Ooh, a big tomahawk steak with some mashed potatoes and like some corn or something on the side. Yeah.
Nice.
Doesn't
That's
matter
some-
what's on the side.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that takes the longest possible to eat, right? Like,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah,
just delay
exactly.
this thing as long as we can.
Yeah. What was your first car?
2002 Jeep Liberty, bright
Oh, wow.
red fire truck. It was disgusting.
I had one of those, not red.
Harv, I'll give you the last one before I'll go second last, and you can have the last one. Have you played golf in Saskatchewan much? And do you have a favorite course out here?
You know what? The only course I've been to that I played out there is Deer Park in Yorkton.
Yeah.
I'm going to be out there for both Saskatchewan events this year, so hopefully I'll get to play Deer Valley.
Yep.
I've heard nothing but good things about, the big ones, Royal Regina. Is it Elk Ridge where they play the tour event there, the PGA Tour Canada event? I'd like to play those ones if I can get out there at some point, but
yeah, you might be able to. Deer Valley's right next to Regina. You might be able to find your way onto Royal Regina for sure. So, and maybe find your way into Moose Jaw, and we'll play together.
There you go. Might have to take you guys up on that.
Yeah, right on.
No, awesome. We got two left actually.
Okay.
What is your ultimate foursome? So 3 other guys you'd like to golf with, any walk of life, doesn't have to be golfers, and where would you play?
Okay, so Tiger for sure. I mean, I think that's everyone's answer.
Mostly, yep.
I'm a big country music guy. I love Hardy. I don't know if you guys know who Hardy is.
Yep.
So Hardy, Tiger, and he's a good golfer too. So that'd be good. And then honestly, probably Steph Curry. He's a
Nice.
solid golfer, right? So that'd be a pretty good foursome. I'd be way out of my league in that foursome, but it'd be a good time.
Actually, that's
The
a very
fours.
unique and well done. And where are you playing?
Where am I playing? Geez, anywhere in the world. Maybe like Spyglass Hill or something like that. Something that's challenging, but also on the bucket list, right?
Yep.
No, awesome. Yeah.
I think
Right on.
we saw Hardy at Craven, didn't we?
That's right. He
Yeah.
opened second last before Morgan Wallen.
Right.
Yeah.
You got the last one.
You get last.
All right. We ask everybody that ever comes on the show, are you a Coke or a Pepsi guy?
Definitely Pep or definitely Coke.
Oh, good
Almost said
Good
Pepsi there.
correction.
Almost a
Good
slip up.
correction.
Definitely Coke.
No, it wasn't a slip up. It was the real thing. He covered it up.
Definitely not Pepsi, I think is what he meant to
Yeah.
say. But
Yeah.
Right on. Well, Tyler, we really appreciate you coming on to tell us a little bit more about the CJGA, and we're excited to have you guys coming back to Saskatchewan. Hopefully, as you say, that things continue to grow and you have more and more events here, and hopefully anyone listening to this that has those junior age golfers to make sure they get out signed up for these events and get to playing. So really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys having me on, and anytime you guys need a guest, just give me a shout.
Yeah, you bet.
You bet.
sounds good.